to finish up and to see if we get a result from that. Meanwhile, over on the left side, we've got... I'm just wondering who's actually in game with Braddock. Like, is ZG in there? No. I do just wonder who's kind of in there. Anyways, this is InZaNe versus Starbuck, so this will get started in the meanwhile. We have got to the top left-hand side. Who are we following? Let's follow a good observer for us here. Oh, Zombie Grub. Wait, Zombie Grub's in here? Huh. Who knew? Alright, well, Zombie Grub's in here. He's introducing Starbuck bottom right and InZaNe top left. I'm just going to go have a browse through some of the streams and try and find Braddock versus Abaddon. I'm just thinking who might be in there. Maybe O Gaming, but no, O Gaming were in game with us. Sin's not in a game either. Oh, this is actually kind of tough to find. Now I'm trying to figure it out. Huh? Who might be in that game? I actually really don't know. Is there anyone else on my friends list in game for 14 minutes? It is a mystery. It is a mystery. O'Game in game with Clem game 2 against Vanya. That looks pretty good for Clem at the moment, in case you guys were looking for an update there. Oh, maybe Starladder are in game with no, next up Vanya Clem. Nah. Can't find anyone. Maybe Indy? I was gonna click through a few games here, guys. Nope, Indy isn't. And Male? Mill's in game with Art. Alright, guys. Well, this TVP is obviously getting going. Starbuck, very well known as a very aggressive player. Has always been very aggressive. Oh, I found Braddock Abaddon. Okay, cool. Looks like that actually might be going to a... Well, it's actually... They're 15 minutes in. And Braddock's playing mech against Bio, but he's down 20 supply. It's actually looking okay for Braddock. Okay. Well, now that I know how that's going, we can actually talk a little bit about this game. I was just interested, mostly. Get a rough idea of maybe what we will be jumping into and when and so on. But yeah, you're going to be seeing the Reaper looking around to see the Queen and a few Lings that obviously deflected away from the natural. It's checking for the third base, of course. InZaNe was messaging me just before this and actually saying, like, have you ever seen any games of Starbuck lately and stuff like that? I was like, no, I actually haven't seen anything of him. And, yeah, I think it's a little bit tough to really figure out because it's Starbuck's always been that aggressive player. Never forget the time he knocked Bunny out of WCS Challenger. That was the Danish Bunny back then with those aggressive roach builds that Bunny just couldn't figure out. I mean, that's just Starbuck through and through. Drone drills and stuff, and yeah, all sorts of like just crazy things that you don't usually expect to see in a game of StarCraft. So, definitely looking towards a bit of an interesting setup here as we see a few Lings from Starbuck heading in towards the upper left-hand side, and just peeking to see that they can maybe get done. A couple of Hellions going to be firing away on those Zerglings already, so Ling's taking a bit of damage. Now jumping onto a Marine or so, though. Reaper gets taken down as well. Ling's going to stream up in towards the main base. I tell you what, that Marine will go down. The Hellions may be still in some trouble. Hellions continue to fight. SCVs are dropping. 3 SCVs killed so far, actually. So a bunch of damage already killed as more Lings continue to run forwards. Hellions continuing to pick away at those Zerglings. And Ling's taking a lot of damage. So, I mean, Starbuck gets in, doesn't really do much, I'd say. I mean, obviously pulling the Hellions back at Satra is nice and so on, but nothing all too crazy as the Starport's going to lift up. That'll drop down on the tech lab here. And we are going to be seeing the Fusion Core on the way up as well. So actually going to be seeing a battle cruiser opening. But there's the Roach Roaring dropping into play. We'll see if this does turn into some form of aggression, or whether this is just going to be a bit more laid back, sort of just setting up for roaches in case you start to hellbat me sort of setup. For Starbuck going into the main base, though, I feel like he's seen surprisingly little so far. I mean, you look at this, I guess he has seen the Fusion Core, which means that if he wants to get aggressive with the Ling Roach, it wouldn't be bad for him. But I tell you what, these Hellions run by, and that's 11 workers and counting. This is really good for him, of course. InZaNe gets 15 drones. I mean, obviously Starbuck just wasn't ready for this. It's maybe just waiting and setting up a BC or whatever, but 16 drones down. Now 24 drones I mean, this is against 33 SCVs, and he's just making roaches. So Starbuck is actually going to commit to aggression here, and he's going to be going for that in next few moments. So we're going to be going into that in the very near future. As we see some lings, we're starting to head up towards the upper left-hand side. A command center dropping down here from InZaNe will fill that gap in the wall off. Fusion core will build your Mardo cannon. I mean, the thing is, does InZaNe know that this is super hyper-aggressive? Does he know these roaches are coming across the map? Because if he does, he probably doesn't want to teleport this BC across. I mean, it goes across, lands into the... I actually completely lost it. Where's the BC? Oh my god, I've got no idea. Hang on. There we go. God, couldn't see that for the life of me. My screen on the laptop's just a little bit too small. I need to really get the laptop its own little desk and then put another monitor on the side here, honestly. It'd be a little bit better. Anyways, more importantly, the BC dealing some damage, but there's the roach and the ravages on the other side, and I mean, this is prime time to get some damage done as the SCVs immediately pull away. Again, the BC's like, well, yeah, I probably shouldn't have just, I probably just shouldn't have brought it across the map. There's no world in which the CC across the map was a good thing, as now 17 workers down, third base cancelled. I mean, more lings being made here, as we're going to be seeing a couple of Widow Mines on the way out, another BC on the way up, and there's going to be even more workers dropping down as InZaNe after killing 15 drones. I mean, again, the Battlecruiser will eventually come across and clean this up, but he's going to be on so few workers at that point. This is going to be really painful as the BC shows back up. I mean, he's going to have double BC, but more lings streaming in as well. I mean, how many SCVs go down before this is done? I don't know. Starbuck hits a little bit of a supply block, but InZaNe, I think, is just straight up dead. Just didn't think about the aggression that was going to come across the map. Sent his BC over. Maybe could have been a bit more cautious. Just didn't have information in the middle of the map at all. No clue what was happening there. And that's, well, going to pretty much kill him. He's on 0 workers. He has nothing. We'll start up a couple new SCVs, but, I mean, I mean, what do you do, right? Like, your wall off on the main base is down. You don't have an SCV to build a depot to wall it off. I actually don't know what you do. I mean, BCs can do all they like. I don't care. I do not believe there's a way you come back into this. So, not the best of starts, unfortunately, here for Mr. InZaNe in this qualifying matchup. Starbuck getting off to a nice quick start up here then. As you do see the lag coming up, going to be finishing on its soon. InZaNe affords another Battlecruiser somehow, no idea how. Will wall off on the high ground, obviously pulls his natural back up to the high ground so you can just rebuild his main base saturation to begin with. I mean, Starbuck is now on, 36 workers against 4. A couple of Yamato cannons down on a couple of queens at the front, but, I mean, first BC teleports away. Second BC will stick around, deal some damage, but won't really deal all that much. As we are going to be seeing again, the queens continue to press this BC, and it is going to get pushed all the way down to the bottom side. So that BC all the way down to the south. And as we see, meanwhile, just more drones on the way from Starbuck, right? He just keeps on droning up. Puts himself in a better impaired position here. The Queen's taking a bunch of damage. They're going to turn and push that BC off to the left side as well. And again, across the 3 bases now, he's almost fully saturated. Drops the Spire so he gets Corruptors out to help with the BCs. I mean, Starbuck's doing all the correct things at the moment as InZaNe. Unfortunately, just doesn't have really the correct setup anymore. Autocannon, boom, onto the Queen once again. But, I mean, the Queen's actually pretty good at coming over in plenty of time and just, well, again, pushing that BC away very quickly. I'm going to be seeing the Spire just about halfway done here from Starbuck. And, yeah, those Zerglings also just sitting out the front. I mean, Hellions move out. There's so many Zerglings that are going to start surrounding right from the get-go. And InZaNe just can't do anything right at the moment. I mean, it's not that he can't do anything right. It's just that every decision he makes is just going to be met by the brute force of how far ahead Starbuck is right now. And that's, it's kind of brutal how much, of a lead that is. You just can't do anything right here, is InZaNe, because you're just that far behind. As soon as the Spire comes up, Starbuck's going to have access to the Corruptors, and the access to the Corruptors should just instantly bring this into a, into like an ending position, I think, as Lings. Oh, we're going to run up into the main. That is GG, right? Unless the BCs have a teleport back home. 1 BC teleports over. But again, how many SCVs go down before the BC kills off these Zerglings? Well, pretty much all of them. That's 10, 12. There's 7 SCVs remaining. Yeah, I mean, 14 SCVs go down. BC's over here trying to fight again. Queens Getting mottoed, but 7 Corruptors on the way up should be good. I mean, one BSC is already going down. The other one's across the map because it had to teleport back home to defend those Zerglings. This BC has a teleport, so maybe you can keep it alive at least, but I mean, that really is about it. Roach is running into the main now. GG from InZaNe. He'll give up this game number 1, and Starbuck will take the lead in the series 1-0. Meanwhile, that's not the screen I want. This one, boom, for game number 2 of this series. We've got to the bottom left side our Green Terran player InZaNe taking on to the top right the Red Zerg player Starbuck. Beautiful. Alright, well, we're going to follow someone's observing here for a moment or two. Roddy with the monster host. What is up, guys? Roddy hosts the stream for 2,800 viewers. Hello, everyone. Unfortunately, I assume that means Rotterdam's stream has come to an end, and his run in the bracket has come to an end as well. Thank you so much for the huge host, though, dude. Welcome, everyone. Obviously, we're on a 3-minute stream delay, so I can't say hello to you guys too quickly here. So I guess you've heard everything that we're talking about there in terms of what we're planning. We're planning to go into Harsam's qualifying match ASAP. But we also have Starbuck and Zane going on, which is what we're jumping into right now. Obviously, we're casting the WCS European qualifiers. We've still got winner bracket qualifying matches to go. Then we'll be dropping down to the lower bracket as well. So we basically have a whole bunch of action still to bring you guys. And we should be able to bring you guys all sorts of games still. So I'm live for a good couple hours yet. And thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much, Roddy, for the big old host. Appreciate it, dude. Thank you. Alright, so jumping into game 2. Again, it's going to be Starbuck against InZaNe. Now, InZaNe did a lot of damage early last game. Killed off 15 drones. And if he just kept his BC at home, or had some idea that the roaches were coming across the map, he would have been fine. He didn't, and because of that, he let the roach ling attack do way too much damage. He went down to 0 SCVs, somehow managed to stay in the game after that, but obviously not with much hope of doing anything. But it's a WCS qualifying match. You don't give up until the very, very end. That should go without saying, so there you go. And, well, here we are. So it is Harsam versus Braddock as well, the other qualifying match that's about to get started in the winners bracket. Again, we'll jump in and hopefully have some action from that ASAP for you guys as well. For now, let's stick up with this InZaNe Starbuck series, though, and see what the TVZ will bring as the Reaper into a Marine. A Marine just there in case a few lings coming across, means you can pull SCVs to keep the CC alive and mining without too much issue, of course. So that's ongoing as the Reaper shows up, and those lings are here all ready to play a little bit of a dancing game with this so far. So there we go, and setting up into that. So feelings just defending so far with the help of the Queen, of course, pushing that Reaper away a little bit. Going to be seeing the factory finishing up from InZaNe. He is double gas, so no fast free CC or anything. Again, I think he's not too sure about what to expect from Starbuck, so a fast free CC when you're 1-0 down as well, it's just way too much of a risk. So straight into the starport. I'd be intrigued if he goes for the battle cruiser again, or whether he's going to just go for something a bit more regular. We've seen the BCs definitely die off in popularity lately, in favor of just going in towards like a Cloak Banshee or so. Just a couple of builds that are a little bit safer against, especially those all-ins where, you know, the Banshees come out so much more regularly. They're just a little bit better than the BCs to defend you there and kind of to keep you safe still while moving through. Queen's going to press out that creep spread then as we see the lings in the middle of the map picking off a Reaper already. So Reaper goes down. A couple Hellions on the way up as well from InZaNe. So those are going to be finishing momentarily. And it is the Fusion Core again, so he is going to opt for that once more. I mean, there's no chance of this being anything other than a battle cruiser. The other option with a Fusion Core this early is, of course, the Advanced Ballistics, the Liberator range. Automaton is not a map which really allows you to do Liberator range. So it is definitely a battle cruiser here from InZaNe. Now, Starbuck starts a lair in a Roach-Ron this time, so it's a bit more sort of let's get Roach speed sort of focused, rather than let's just build Roaches and Lings and go and kill you. I wonder what he does. Maybe just Roaches, Roach speed, but he also gets the Spire sort of quickly, maybe expecting the BC. Maybe he just gives him the option to put the Spire down as soon as he knows it's a BC as well, of course, so a couple of options there. As we do see the factory finishing up a tech lab in the main base, and we do see the Hellions and the Marines just gathering up on the natural expansion. As the starport going to come over towards a tech lab now. And yeah, ready to start up Mr. Battlecruiser. Starbuck just gets his first Spore Crawler on the way, ready to deflect a couple of units here and there. We see them single Zergling from Starbuck coming across down to the bottom left-hand side. So Starbuck bringing this link down to the bottom left to see what's going on. Hellions say hello to it, though, and, well, let's hope Starbuck has units in time to defend the Hellions this time. That might be why he goes for the slightly faster Roach Roaring, because last game he did have the Roach Roaring just that little bit later, and so he didn't have any Roaches to defend the Hellions, and that's what lost him the initial drones that put him into a bit of a rough spot that fortunately he was able to come back from. So the Roach Roaring a little bit faster, he's getting those Roaches up. Roach speed come through. It could just still be a big Roach attack, though. And especially against the Battlecruiser, I really wouldn't mind it, because I guess there's a siege tank on the way up this time from InZaNe, so there will be a tank to help defend. Well, that will definitely help. On Automaton, there's a couple of nice positions you can put the tank as well to help cover the ramp. I guess it's there's not too many, though, if you want to be safe from Ravager battles. That high ground, like on the top of the main base, like over here, is really nice for tanks and defense, but only if you know there isn't going to be corrosive battles coming up, etc. Well, the BC teleports across, and we'll be seeing that coming in towards the main base alongside this Viking. So, Battlecruiser into the main. Your model cannons down the Queen, and we'll start to pick off these drones in the main. Again, a lot of Roaches and Lings on the way out, though, and they are going straight across the map. So, 100% looking to be aggressive. Now, the Hellions chasing down, or were chasing down, a couple of Lings for a moment or two. Looks as though he's now aware of what's going on. The Hellions have dodged the Roaches to stay alive. Double siege tank here, and look at this, setting up a secondary wall to give the tanks as long as possible to defend and to fight against this. So, doing a good job in terms of preparing for this big attack. I mean, there are a couple of Ravagers in the back, so obviously corrosive battles will be big, but how do you even get in range to corrosive battle here? You get the feeling that you probably just don't. First set of battles comes down. Oh, he is in range of the siege tank, but only with one Ravager to begin with. Now the other two. So one tank will go down here, but bunkers finished up. And the Lings and Roaches streaming in. A few Lings on top of that tank at least will jump on the bunkers as well. Ravager's still alive. Biles' tank goes down. But now the Battlecruiser's pulled back home as well to defend. But Starbuck is still ending up. 12 workers killed so far. Is that enough? He's making a lot more Roaches and Lings, I can tell you that. As I think InZaNe, though, has a good defense here. A much better read on the situation. A very good kind of read on what is going on in general. And so he's going to hold off. I think 13 workers lost is fine. He's got a third CC. That's not going to get cancelled like it did in the last attack. And that's going to be an 11 worker lead for Starbuck, sure. But again, he's on Roach Ling against BCs and so on. You know, he doesn't have any upgrades coming in or anything. And obviously as the BCs build up, you feel as though there's quite a bit of potential to obviously counterattack as InZaNe. As you're going to see this BC moving forwards, we'll see the Lings and Roaches that are gathering up once again. And immediately that says, well shit, man, you're going to get aggressive again? You want to fight me some more? Like, really? It's a little crazy, of course. We see that BC coming up. Roach is going to get pushed away through the middle of the map. Yamato will knock down that Overseer, and the Overseer falls very quickly there. Burrow comes up from Starbuck in the third base, so gets that going. He takes a gold. Look at that. The confidence from our Zerg player as he just sets that gold base up. A few Lings running in. Not going to be able to do too much there, though. A couple of Lings jumping on towards an SCV or so. BC is going to, teleport in as well. As we see the Roaches coming through, picking up a bunch of these SCVs. And these Roaches are able to get a bunch of damage already. It's quite nice. 7 workers going down. And obviously you're giving up units, though, to kind of shut down economy, so you have to be careful about that, because you don't want to end up with no army at all, and suddenly one big push finishes you off. You know, while your opponent still has no economy themselves, but it doesn't matter, because you just gave up too many units inefficiently. Starbuck going into Mutalisks off the Spire, not the typical Corruptors to deal with the BCs. Mutas will perhaps look for a bit of a counterattack here. There's Cyclones and Hellions behind this, so InZaNe looking to play a mech style as a follow-up. Lings want to hit that third base, currently unprotected. I mean, a siege tank on the high ground. A couple of Lings actually peel away to the top and actually will get us around on that Hellion. BC teleports home as the gold base is found. Queen's in good numbers, and the Muta's going to fly in as well. Now, the BCs do not have teleports available, so the Mutas will kill off BC number 1 and BC number 2. As it's teleporting a little bit, Mutas don't want to commit in that hard, though. We'll now head down to the bottom left instead. Remember, 1 BC teleported in over here. Where's that gotten to? Where is that Battlecruiser? Sneaking around. There, in the back of the main base. This BC comes in back on the gold to fight with the Queens. Mia's flying to the main, stop the turret coming up, so Starbuck still dealing some good damage here. Turret gets cancelled, another SCV or 2 getting picked away at still. Cyclone lock-ons are good to push those Mutas away. gotta say, I feel like the Mutas didn't do too much here. Like, they cleaned up one of the BCs, but that's about it so far. Now you see pathogen glands on the way, so looking to switch in towards fungal growths on those infestors. The idea being probably because he's playing against Cyclone Hellion, or at least he thinks so. There's a few tanks here, but I think it's mostly going to be Cyclones and Hellions. Because of that, he says, okay, well, if I get the fungals up, I can stop you from kiting away as much, and maybe I can close the distance with my army. As now we do see some Corruptors on the way up, probably realizing, well, there's still BCs in play. Gonna have to get something to deal with that. If 10 workers haven't been killed, we now see even more roaches with this burrowed play coming through, looking to unburrow on the base and get more damage dealt. Tell you what, though, tanks are pulling quite far back here. If I was Starbuck, I would have just backed away, because at some point you're just not going to do much at all if those units are in position. Even if you, get here without being seen and you unburrow, the units are just too nearby. Unfortunately, he didn't really pay much attention to those roaches, and he didn't see what was nearby, so he does just sort of sacrifice them. Hellions attempting to run by a base, but the roach movement is good so far to deflect them. With the high ground here, you can kind of ping-pong between these two positions quite easily compared to the Hellions, so the roaches are able to stop the Hellions getting up into the gold for a moment or two, and we'll be back there to do the same again before they hit that gold mineral line. So Hellions really not finding much success at all. They might find some creep tumors here, and maybe they can get behind that gold mineral line. But I mean, there's roaches over here, and this time they're on creep as well, so obviously that works nicely. Hellions can just pull, our drones can just pull away, and obviously the Hellions can't chase because they're literally behind a mineral line. They're locked out. They can't go through there. So, oh, the Hellions being left alone as the roaches jump on them. I mean, that's a bunch of Hellions going down, all but one, and that 1 HP Hellion gets away. But I mean, obviously the Hellions are an important part of sort of taking damage for the Cyclones, while the Cyclones lock on and start pulling back. So losing a few Hellions like that is definitely a bit of a shame. Corruptors back up towards the upper right side. We've seen a couple of extractors setting up. Spinecrawler still building, a few infestors on the way out. Greater Spire dropping into the main base as well. So again, the Greater Spire going. Again, we're going to be seeing these few units in the center. Again, set to go. Command center going to be building up on the 4th base too. Again, Hellions trying to move into the middle of the map. Roaches, well, a few of them burrows already seen. I mean, this is turned into more traditional mech, but with already Greater Spire on the way up, it feels like Starbuck is like a step or two, like, feels as though he's like 2 or 3 minutes ahead of where InZaNe is at in the game, right? Like, InZaNe, I feel like, is just thinking, okay, I'm going to build up my mech army, start harassing with these Cyclones, it's going to be fun. And then Starbuck's like, cool, have your Cyclones, I'm going to have like a few Broodlords soon, what are you going to do about that? And then InZaNe's going to be like, nothing, I guess, because he really has no answer to it. The BCs are continuing to build, but that maybe forces a few more Corruptors to stay on the map. Starbuck has 90 drones, has a bank to work with. This push forward is scary, but remember, there's fungal growth. If you can land a fungal on those Cyclones, you can probably run in and clean them up with the roaches. Greater Spire finishing, then again, the Corruptors are out. He's got 9 of them in play, and they do immediately start moving into Broods. Is that scan good to see them? Oh, you just see one Broodlord morphing, so immediately now InZaNe will know what's happening. There just isn't enough anti-air here. The Cyclones die too fast when the Broodlings start dropping on them, so they can't even really lock properly on towards the Broodlords here. And a couple Cyclones already getting picked away at. Again, the Brood's about to show up. I mean, okay, surely Yamato cannon down a couple of them. But now Corruptor's on the way up as well as the actual Neuroparasites. One of the 2 of those Cyclones. He actually lost one, as we're going to be seeing again. There go the Broodlords coming in. Corruptor's not really in good enough numbers just yet, as the Lings are streaming in to pick off those couple of siege tanks that were here as well. And InZaNe really looks like he's in a lot of trouble at the moment. Another Neuroparasite up on that battlecruiser here. Actually, Yamato's his opponent's battlecruiser. He's going to now pull it in towards this army as well. Maybe he wants to neural it once more. He could crossover battle it down if he neurals it and keeps it in position. Just does neural it one more time. And we'll actually send it forwards to try and fight. Yeah, he can just target it down with the Corruptors though, and eventually it will die. And Starbuck rebuilding or remaxing here with Corruptors means he can get rid of the other BCs very easily too, as well as anti-air units that are being made to help against those Broodlords. So in general, Starbuck looking very good at this moment. Another Broodlord morphing in, and as we do see another BC about to take to the field, it just doesn't feel like these BCs are really going to do much. Hellions dive by, 2 drones before the Spines clean them up as well, so InZaNe not going to find much value up there with the Hellions. Corruptors will gather together here. And again, a few more Hellions just darting forwards and towards the center of the map. Broodlord will turn and throw down a couple of Broodlings to help pick its way through. A couple of drones also going to be dropping as we see the Broodlings coming in en masse, and those Hellions not going to last very long at all. Corruptor's going to dive on the BCs, gets one of them. The other one has a teleport available, doesn't use it. Oh man, InZaNe losing everything that he's got going for himself now, as this has turned into Corruptor, Broodlord, Infestor. A little bit of Roach Ravager left on the ground, but I mean, this army should be able to press forwards very shortly and just come straight into this base of InZaNe and just completely clean up, really. There's not much to really stop this happening. 4 more Broodlords morphing in. I mean, Starbuck's playing it slow. I really feel like he could have been a lot more aggressive and taken a few more fights already, but decides not to. Those Broodlords starting to finish up here. Infestors, Roaches, and Ravagers into the middle of the map. Cyclones are coming in from the bottom right-hand side, picking up a few of these Creep Tumors. So a few Creep Tumors going down. Locks onto a couple of Roaches. A couple of Corruptors locked onto as well. And still getting some more damage done there. There you go. Oh my god, nice fungal growth. Really good couple of fungal growths, actually. Both those, all of those Cyclones going to get taken down. Well, now Cyclones are dropping too. I mean, a lot of Vikings on the way. Well, I mean, now we see Vipers added in as well. I was going to say, like, the one thing I was going to say is there maybe isn't much apart from Fungals and a few Corruptors against Vikings. But if there's Vipers also, I mean, then you can also just Parasitic Bomb. And it's that additional kind of AoE damage that can just get so much done. It's crazy. And there's those Broods still hanging out in the center. Scans dropping down from InZaNe bottom right. Had to clean something up over here, although he had a turret. So I'm not sure. Maybe that's just a misplaced scan rather than a mule. Not sure what the deal was there. Trying to think why he would scan there. Maybe he didn't have the turret finished. I don't know. I actually have no idea. I have no answer for you. Well, the BC that's still alive is in the top side of the map. This one will teleport away. Well, SCVs go down as tanks in position to clean up those Roaches. Still just getting an SCV or so. On the right side, a Cyclone locks onto a base as well. I mean, it's all just kind of nuisance plays out of InZaNe. Nothing too scary. The attempt to fungal misses. The Infested Terrans trying to surround the Cyclone doesn't work. Feels like Starbuck's just having a bit of fun at the moment. Like a real bit of fun. Viper's consuming up an Evolution Chamber. And this army of Starbuck probably ready to run forwards. Drop down in towards that planetary fortress as we see the Cyclones from InZaNe coming up the right hand side. Thinking about what they might want to lock onto here. Oh, gonna find Ravagers and Infestors. That's always a nice pick off. Broodlings come in. I mean, the thing is, those Broodlings will kill it. Cyclones so quickly. As we just see, again, Starbuck playing a very slow game right now through the middle of the map. Gives InZaNe a lot of time to set up, but also gives Starbuck even more time to improve his own army and to improve where he's at in this game at number 2. Again, the Cyclone lock on. Sure, you kill a Broodlord as you lose multiple Cyclones to the Broodlings. Just doesn't quite get the kill there in the end, but feels like those Cyclones aren't really longed for this world. This hatchery's not long for this world either, though. I mean, in fairness, the Cyclones are doing more than you might expect. Oh my god, the chain fungal into the Broodlings from the hatchery getting the kill. That's something. That's a little bit interesting. Spore's going to push forwards with the spines as well. I mean, here's the thing. You're also going to start running out of bases here as the Terran player, especially if you start losing a forward base like this one to this push. Taking bottom right base might not be that bad, actually, I guess, because the Broods are going to struggle to get down there, but well, here you go. If there's Broodlings coming in, and I mean, there's production over here. Vikings are moving forwards, though. The Infestors out of position quite far back. Here we go. Vipers straight in with the Parasitic Bombs on towards those Vikings, so they already take a big chunk of damage. They're still clumped up. Oh my gosh, and now of course there's Fungals to try and follow up as well. The Broods are going to come forwards. I mean, the Corruptors should be coming in here now as well. Corruptors knowing that they can obviously pick away at a couple of those lower health Vikings already. SCVs are pulled to deal with this, but it gives the Broodlings and the Broodlords the siege position, and that base starts to go down. So a couple of good Parasitic Bombs to start, and those Vikings now in a lot of trouble. And we see the EMPs though. Oh my god, what a play that was! EMPs from the right side. The Infestors run out of energy. Tanks counter-attacking as we see the couple of Lings coming in to try and clean that up. Infestors are running on top of these tanks. Dual Parasites, one of them. Oh my god, but the Infestors are taking some heavy losses. Starbuck actually drops down in supplies. The Vikings come forwards as well. Without the fungal growths here, Man, those EMPs were absolutely clutch from InZaNe. What a moment that was from our Terran player. EMP is absolutely huge there. As you see, Broods, Corruptors, and Infestors still gathering up in the middle of the map. Vipers consuming a little bit of energy. Getting that some energy back on from that Evo chamber there. Oh, that's picking up a few of these Zerglings as well. And we still have these Broodlords of Starbuck pressing forwards. Trying to deal some damage. The Broodlings dropping down. Hellbat's taking quite a bit of damage. I mean, again, the Infestors are getting their energy back to deal with this, but the Ghosts are still around. Those EMPs are going to be difficult to deal with. I feel like Starbuck might start regretting kind of trying to build up this mega army, because right now, InZaNe's dealing with it pretty well, though those Ghosts are starting to die. So this time, the Ghosts don't get the flank off, and they actually just completely go down. Is that it? Was that all he had? Oh, well, that's a bit brutal. I thought he might have had something better planned with the Ghosts than that. Fungal growth still needed here against these Vikings, because the Broodlords are in trouble. The Corruptors aren't in any sort of numbers, but the fungal growths are landed. Infested Terrans are coming down. The Vikings try and pull backwards here, but in the end, InZaNe is going to get overrun, and that's going to be absolutely brutal for him now as the Broods keep on coming forwards as well. Last few Vikings in the sky. The Corruptors should be able to deal with them on such low HP. Don't know how this tank survived so long. It's been in the most forward position of anything all game. I had 50 kills when it went down. Hero Siege Tank. InZaNe continue to expand across the bottom right, so he still has bases to work with here for a couple more moments. And we've seen that Planetary Force is somehow still just about alive as we see some Hellbats and Ghosts coming forwards. Remax here is on more Infestors, Vipers, and more Broodlords wolfing in as well. I mean, InZaNe continues to try and mass up Ghosts. What on earth is a Neural Parasite in a command? Oh no. Oh, Starbuck. Neural Parasites and builds his own command center. GG. Starbuck takes game.